control of our environment, it takes control of us.
When your mind and your emotions are in unpleasant, you become rigid. Nothing can be done about you. So already you have one problem, don't create the next one.
These are the end product of an experience.
It's like priming. If you don't do that, if you get up and you just have no discipline whatsoever, you get no value of anything. Your diets don't work when you don't do them, exercise doesn't work when you don't do them.
You're in a state of unpleasantness, nobody can touch you, nobody can help you, nobody can do anything with you. If you're in a state of pleasantness, you're willing to be molded into a different shape, isn't it? When you're in a state of unpleasantness, you're not even willing to be touched.
So then, do I react in my life? Yep, I do. But the question is, how long are you going to react? That's the real question. Because if you keep that emotional reaction going on for an extended period of time, sooner or later it'll become your identity.
You know, I'm on my 4th day without a cigarette, man. I'm doing really good. If you're counting the days, it's not lasting change. You're just counting the days you can tell people how long you lasted. If you want lasting change, you've got to give up this idea of trying something. You got to decide you're going to commit to mastery. And when I say commit to mastery, what I mean by that is most people dabble. They talk about, well, I'd like to change my body, I'd like to change, make my relationship better, I'd like to have more passion there, but they don't know what to do, and even if they did, they don't have enough detail to be able to follow through. They haven't made the shifts in their own emotion and their psychology to follow through, and it isn't that difficult, but there is a path and it requires consistency. All of our success and failure in life comes from little decisions, little actions, little moments. Failure isn't an overnight event. It's failure to make the phone call. It's failure to say, I love you. It's failure to take care of your body. It's failure to invest some time in yourself so you keep growing and expanding and not just reacting to the world that's constantly demanding your attention.
If you burn your experience, you'll go through the same nonsense all over.
A minute feels like an eternity when you don't like what you're doing.
Right.
When all your needs are fulfilled, time flies.
What you learn through unpleasant moments in your life is invaluable. If you forget that experience, you are a fool. Only a fool will try to forget. If you're smart, you must remember every unpleasant experience you had without resentment, without anger, without unpleasantness, just in your memory always, so that you never ever get into the same situations again.
But I also know that what a person really wants more than anything else is to be free. People want to be free, and I have witnessed transformation on every culture, on every skin color, every shape, every size, every age. I've witnessed it, and the same radiance that takes place in a person's face, a light behind their eyes, a different physical presentation of their face is eminent, it's real.
The value of life's experience cannot be thrown away. The value of lifetimes of experience definitely cannot be thrown away. It's needed. If you can keep them at a distance and use them as experience. If you let it grow into you, then it just poisons your whole life.
And then people say, why are you so bitter? Why are you so frustrated? Why are you suffering so much? And your brain, in that emotion, you're in the emotion, which means you're in the chemical residue of the past, is going to call up the event because you're emotionally connected to it. And you're going to say, I'm this way because of that past experience.
You'll be again an ignorant fool who'll do the same things all over again.
Grieve over things that you lose. Grieving is a biological process. It's neural pruning. It's a death of circuitry. It's a death of emotions. It's the absence, a void of something in your life, and that's important. But in grief, sooner or later, you got to come to a greater understanding about death, a greater understanding about loss, a greater understanding so that you can adapt to those conditions. And that person has worked to overcome themselves. And so it's not that we shouldn't feel emotions. We should feel those emotions and feel them completely. And like a child, get over it though, and just let it out and then go. When we witness people analyzing their life within some disturbing emotion on the brain scans, over and over again, we saw their brain getting worse. Their body's influencing their mind. So the only way they're going to begin to liberate energy is to be still, to be greater than their body. And every time they settle it back into the present moment, they're lowering the volume to that emotion, and now they become the mind. And the body is no longer the mind, and when the body is finally free, they'll see possibilities they never saw before. I've seen it too many times. And all of a sudden, all that person wants to do is be in the present moment and become more happy. They want more of that.
Success comes from doing the right things also, little things, saying I love you, taking the time for what matters most, your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotion, having a plan, and measuring your progress. That's the second thing we need. You got to commit to mastery, but you also really need to get yourself involved in what I call immersion coaching. Immersion coaching is as old as humanity. How have we passed on mastery of anything? Finances, crafts, ideas, business, politics. Usually you went to live with somebody, you went to work for somebody, you became an apprentice. And maybe decades or years or decades of your life, you'd commit time to be around that person day and night so you could see and feel all the little distinctions that make them so masterful.
Surely someone in eternity has had a similar problem as you and I, and they've gotten beyond it. Yes or no? Yes. So study that person. You want to be wealthy? Study wealthy people. Don't just have some panacea that you're just going to get wealthy. Read about wealthy people and find out that they lost everything and failed miserably 20, 50 times. But what they had as a characteristic, a quality in their personality is they were persistent, and they kept changing, and they kept forgiving and letting go of the past and kept going. And sooner or later they ran into it, and when they had all the money they wanted, it was never about the money. It was just about that they could prove to themselves that they can do it. And you and I are no different than that. But if you can't create a future because of some emotion that keeps you in the past, you're going to have to square off with that emotion. And when you sit down and your body has all those physical sensations and it's getting vigilant and it wants to get up and it wants to move and you're just going, wow. And you're settling it down and you're working with it, you got to agree with me that something greater in you is climbing out of that body. Something greater in you is awakening. And when you're able to overcome those emotions, truly break the addiction, don't you know that you'll return back to your life and face the person that betrayed you? And you will see a part of yourself that you used to be that you no longer are, and you're not going to have anything else but love for them. In fact, you're going to have compassion for them because you're going to realize how stuck they are, and you're liberated and free. True forgiveness is when you take your attention off somebody because you've overcome the emotion, and that gives them permission to show up differently in your life because you freed yourself and you freed them. And all of a sudden, reality begins to unfold in mysterious ways, and that person shows up and says, "Forgive me. I was so wrong," and you're over it already. And you're just like, go on with it, man. I'm in a new life. I would have never been in this new life if you didn't betray me. Thank you.
So let's make sure you've got a moment to yourself, taking in the space around you, sitting up straight, comfortably, and if possible, with your hands on your lap, with feet flat on the floor. With your eyes softly gazed in front of you, just taking some deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. You could even, when you're breathing out, try and point your tongue up on the edge of your palate against the back of your front teeth. Helps for concentration. Now with the next out breath, just close your eyes softly. You can breathe normally now. As you breathe, feel your body in contact with the chair. Also feeling the weight of your body. And paying attention to your body moving as you breathe. While you're noticing sounds around you, without being distracted. You can feel something happening between your body and your mind. Just allow the sounds to come and go. Bring the attention back to the body. I want you to imagine a warm band of light moving from the top of your head, scanning every body part as it passes over, steadily all the way to your toes, paying attention to everything as you go, noticing how you feel, how the body feels in each body part. Noticing when the mind starts to wander, just calmly bring it back to the breath. Just follow the body's natural rhythm of breathing. And I'd like for you to think about where you want to take control in your life. Now I want you to think about how you react during the day to situations. I also want you to use a technique called noting. Whenever a thought or an idea pops into your head, just to notice that thought and carry on doing what you were doing again. Now, I'd like for you to allow your mind to wander as it pleases. Just let it go, whatever it's thinking, whatever it wants to do. Just allow it to run free for a bit. And bringing the mind back to the breath. As you go through your day today, without judging yourself, I'd like you to notice how many times you react. The more you practice this, the closer you'll get to understanding why you react. You can now, with the next out-breath, just slowly open your eyes and take a moment to realize how your mind started to take ownership of your body. If this has helped you, then please click on subscribe to get more life-changing content. Thank you.